represent, and them know if you comprehend, and them know if you understand. I'm catching flies, and wait for dance. Nobody better than I. 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 Nobody better.
When I say what you so you go with my princess of life. Enemies something to enemies, so just to survive. But the devil on my back, that's why I'm steady on my grind. You know where I'm from, I'm never going back. So anyone for you, make sure you feel my body and soul. Pray for the best, if it has to follow. Blood in my eye, go test me, go look, cause the boy do go long. But the devil on my back, that's why I'm steady on my grind. You know where I'm from, I'm never going back.
Yes, man, say what? Dr. Roberts, take me back for the night. Reaching out to all the maximum that will come tonight. And you tune into Natalie and Rob all the way from Scenario. And you tune into the Black Fire Radio. And you're listening to
Nobody better than I. 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 He's good, don't know it. 440, 5-star. He's not, he's plenty. Reflex, everyday money. More money, more blessings. Bad just really reflex. We just don't test, don't test.
Good morning, good afternoon, beautiful people. It's your girl, the lovely Iwerton here on Let's Pop with Iwerton today. I hope you all had a great, amazing weekend. Whatever you're at, I hope you had a really, really great time. And I hope you're ready for the week because it's always a great time to be alive here on the best radio station in Africa, the Black Hot Friend Network, where we talk about facts, truth, African history, and all about African identity. I hope you're all doing better. I hope you're all excited for the day, for the week, remembering that you are the change you need to see in the world. It's been an amazing couple of few weeks in regards to what's happening here in Kenya. And we've seen a lot happening in regards to the president listening to the people, dissolving the cabinet. We understand that. We've seen a lot of cases coming out. Joby was talking about some bodies that were found at Mukuru Ojanger, but the police station. And it's amazing that that's a lot of bodies, 42 bodies found behind the police station vicinity, and people do not really know why the bodies are around. And before that, last Friday, we saw the head of security resigning just like that. And also, after that, we see some police officers being transferred to other places. Nothing is basically adding up to that. But you know what? We are here because we understand some things might happen. Maybe the timing, but I hope it's not a strategy also for us or for the movement to basically be sign blooded with what's happening in regards to the protest. So today's topic, and the guys joining me here on YouTube, Facebook, X, thank you so much. Really appreciate you. Hope you're doing better. Hope you had a great time over the weekend. It's another week to be better and basically being the best version of yourself. Today's topic is the voice of the people, because I believe the people, the voice is basically the power that we have right now. And this morning we were basically sharing, in the morning show actually, we were sharing with Shimani in regards to what Joshua Maponga was basically talking about in regards to how people can basically listen. Over a few decades, we've seen the government how it has been, and we've been talking and talking, or people have been talking and talking, but nobody's listening. What Joshua Maponga really said, sometimes if people are really trying to control you, or they're basically overpowering you in regards to what they're trying to do, or maybe take a hold of your land. He says sometimes what if they cannot understand or basically listen to what you're saying by words, sometimes they listen to you if you end up being violent. That really got my attention because, which is sad because it doesn't have to be like that. But some people, that's the only way they're going to listen. He said that, and it's basically what's happening right now in the 254. We lost a lot of heroes who were marching for us to have a better government, a better leaders. And the only way the government adhered to our cry is after everything that happened. Thank you guys joining me here on TikTok. I can see Lucky, Ekirash, Francis, microblading. I can see Tash the style. Thank you so much. Diplomat Tiders. Thank you so much for joining me live on TikTok. Matthew Munyao. Thank you so much for joining me here on TikTok and basically also following the live creator. Remember, you can always download our app on Google Store. And also, for the guys who are using the iPhone, you can go to www.blackhotfriendnetwork.com to stream live there, and you'll definitely be mind blown in regards to the information or the work you'll see on all our social media platform. You can definitely also share and like this video live on TikTok and also invite others to come and listening in regards to what I'm gonna talk about this beautiful afternoon. By remembering that you are the change you need to see in the world, you are the creator of your future, and we are the change for a better government, for a better nation here in Africa. I'm gonna share a video of what basically, first of all, Ibrahim Traore was basically talking about in regards for us having a better country, has taking a hold of everything that belongs to us. And it's amazing because he said these and you actually feel motivated to basically fight and stand for what's truth. And what's the truth? The truth is we've been downgraded for quite a while. The truth is we've been controlled for eternity. And the truth is it's time for us to take everything that belongs to us. And that's what is the motivation to a lot of people because we basically understand now better that we own everything that the Europeans really think or have been telling us that we do not own. And that's why we're taking a hold of everything. I'm going to share this video right away. We can be able to move forward in a bit, but I'm hoping y'all are going to follow up in regards to what I'm sharing and also share your opinions, your comments that way right now here on the best radio station in Africa, the Black Heart Fire Network. This basically brings to mind what the video that the spokeslady of IMS shared, and she was talking about the fact that Africa or Kenya, it was actually basically about Kenya and how Kenya is a low income country, or basically how they are helping low income countries to be better. And I was like, the way you players were full and everybody knows what you're talking about. Kenya is not a low income country. You all know what you're doing. You'll understand why you're basically always loaning Africans or the African countries a lot of money because you understand in your perspective that they cannot be able to pay back. And in exchange to that is you get a hold of our minerals and our resources. And that's always has been the play game here. And the fact that now everybody knows the agenda deeply, or they've basically known their agenda of the IMF, and the lady talking seriously and confidently, it's very not even saddening, it's very alarming how they basically view us in their mind. As I always shared here right away, it's like I don't like when people kind of perceive you as a fool and they act like they don't know what's happening, or you don't know what's happening, but you know what's happening, but they play you for a fool. It's basically just be straightforward and be like, this is what's happening, and we understand what's happening in regards to basically carrying or taking someone as a fool. It's not a fair game. Something powerful there. No morals, no personality. At Simple, at Angela, thank you so much for joining me. Interesting topic. Yeah, it's basically interesting bucket because I believe the voice of the people is the answer and the future of Africa, because we basically understand what's indoctrinating us or basically stagnating us to being the same old way with the same old mindset. We understand that better than anybody who's like seated in that seat in the government, in the parliament, because they've basically turned their life into like, it's we basically elect you. It's like we're giving you this amazing lifestyle. We forget about the people. It's about you creating your own empire. They've lost purpose and sense of what leadership is, and it's always about them and taking and taking. But enough is enough, and that's why everybody's so outraged with this government and the leadership of a lot of people in parliament. That's a fact. Cis independence, because they've always kind of like um, binocularized who they really want to use, because they can see the greed and the hunger for wealth and power, and that's what they look for. I had to share this video of the IMF lady. Before I share, she's saying the IMF spokesperson Julie Kozak. The situation in Kenya reflects broader challenges facing many of our low income members. That is so funny. Low income members, Africa? No, we're not low income members, Miss Julie Kozak. IMF remains committed to support. We don't need your support, sweetie. It is an effort to achieve inclusive growth. We're confident we will find a balanced path forward with Kenya. We don't want any participation with you all. I'm gonna share that video right away here on my screen. Just a moment, guys. I share the video. But it's amazing how they carry or see us as fools to basically. It's so funny that she's talking about jobs, which we've not seen for 2 years right now. That's what the president said. Opportunities nowhere to be seen. The fact that she said IMF wants to the betterment of Kenya, we haven't seen that. The fact that the finance bill was out and you all kind of draft this finance bill because you want your money back. How does your IMF benefit Kenya? Let's talk about that. And I can see some comments here. Someone is saying, low income members, yet they extort things from us. Shame on her. Someone better tell them we are way better without them. We are way better without them. Someone else is saying, Dear IMF, I love Kenyans. Dear IMF, stay away from our country. We shall address you when we're done with the small meetings we're having. Thank you so much. Kenyans, don't take no money from IMF. I'm a Jamaican, they F our country up. Someone is saying IMF is our biggest problem, and calling us low income members is a clear indication that your goal is to keep us impoverished so you can take control of us and our resources. Someone else is saying Kenya's problem is looting of public funds, including those we borrow. She mentioned social programs, health, and education, but none of these sectors are seeing. That's what I said right now. Exactly. I always say someone is always thinking about what you're thinking right now. I said you're talking about education, proper health, sectors to be built up, education. This is what the president promised us like 2 years ago. Nothing to see, nothing in regards to what he said in those campaigns that you can be able to see right now. Um, government funding as they're being put, okay? And someone else is saying, why does it reflect the majority of their members, yet they have been in Africa for over 60 years? These are the same people loaning us money they know we can never pay back so that they can control our economy and resources. We're not stupid. Someone else is saying, after we sort our country, we're going to deal with you guys. U.S. Embassy. And I'm like, I was after we started, I know that's going to happen. I see that happening, honestly. That's a good comment. We don't want to find a balanced path with you. You're crippling our economies. Leave us alone. But the comment that is amazing because I feel like that might happen is after we sort our country, we're going to deal with you guys and the US Embassy and IMF. We don't want anything to do with IMF. It's amazing how everybody's thinking about the same thing. Before we forget, empty pockets never held anyone back. Only empty heads and hearts can do that. It's amazing here. I can see Caris Magic saying, Hi, are you in Kenya? Yes, I'm in Kenya. Caris Magic Space Join. Thank you so much for joining us here on Let's Pop with Iwerton. And the topic is the voice of the people because the voice of the people is the future for a better government here. Where were you guys like 2 years ago talking about better health education facility? Why are you working with authorities? We don't want to work with you all. As someone said here, we don't want to find a balanced path with you. You're crippling our economy. Leave us alone. Tafadali, just go. Just disappear because you've made it actually worse by you being a part of this government for years. So nobody wants a part of IMF. Anyway, that's what's been happening here in the 254 of Nairobi, Kenya. Everybody joining me here on live on TikTok. Thank you so much on YouTube. Really appreciate your presence. And Nasser Mohammed, thank you. Very classic. Thank you for joining us here. And the topic is the voice of the people and how the voice is the future for a better government here in Kenya. That's Joshua Maponga, a very great philosopher in regards to Africa's liberation. It really talks about many things that have been happening, and basically the liberation of Africa.
And I feel our people are on the bus. They don't know who is driving the bus. Ultimately, we may have an idea of who is sitting on the steering, but as to who is driving the bus, where is this bus taking us to? Are the people in the bus in agreement that this is where we want to go, whether politically or health-wise or education or socially or culturally, or the global conversation that they're talking about, that this is where Africa needs to be in the global village? And I've asked the question, who will be the king in that village? Who will be the policeman in that village? What religion will be in that village? How are we going to bear our children in that village? What will be our women be in that village? What will be the men be? But when I look at America and I look at Europe,
It's amazing because I believe everybody's just tired of understanding, or basically we're understanding that our president is not actually leading us, but he's getting orders from other people to control us, which is very heartbreaking right now because everything that he's doing is not actually for the betterment of the country, for the people. It's a betterment from what he's been told to do. And that's what's really also outraging other people, because you're understanding like this is basically urban colonization happening here right away in the 21st century.
the idea of what a village looks like, where you're no longer him or you're she, you're no longer it or that, you are no longer. And I'm wondering, does this all inclusive Africa village, global village, has to do with extinguishing the African spirit? Because ultimately, the global village has very little of the African in it. It's about a global culture that is being built. And there's nothing called global culture. Let's be clear. It's American culture. It's a European culture.
It's an American culture, it's a Europe culture. The culture that is being introduced in Africa, it's not an African culture. What he's saying in regards to everything that we're doing right now, we've forgotten about our history, we've forgotten about everything to do with us and everything that we're embedding right now. It's the European culture, it's the American culture. What about we go back to who we were and understanding who we were, and we can imagine that right now, because Africans and Africa is the most powerful, most greatest nation of people of all time. Going back to our identity and realizing who we are as African is the most mind blowing definition of identity you can ever think of or basically fathom.
And while we are being dragged here on a leash to join this global village, I constant. So you said, how am I? I'm not okay. Because I see our politics, our health, our education, our business, our entertainment, our spirituality, our agriculture, all of it slowly being eaten away into this plastic, synthetic, genetically modified culture, genetically modified religion, genetically modified spirituality, genetically modified education, genetically modified governance. And I wonder, as I sit here in my mature mind, I'm no longer a young man, in my mature mind, and you ask me, how am I? I'm not fine. I don't think we have the right drivers for the bus. I don't think we're even on the right bus. And I'm not sure the destination is where I want to leave my children to go to.
I know you are a philosopher, and sometimes one needs to be awake when you speak. You say you are not well because of all these things you are mentioning. But somehow I feel like you are not well because Africa is not well. We are where we are. We are not well. As a people, we are not well. As the land, we are not well. In every aspect you may think of. You've been traveling around the continent, around the land. You've been meeting with different people from different spaces, different tribes, different understandings of who we are. What conversations are you having? How do we get to realize this Africa that will make you be well?
To be very
I always say it every day. I think also because the educational system always gets me. I feel that should be changed completely because this is where young kids really start grasping things in their mind in regards to what is and what is not. That should be changed because that can really shape or destroy your future in regards to the wisdom and the understanding you're getting to your little kids. You know, Mosquito, hope you're doing better. Ray Classic, welcome here on Let's Pop with Everton. Thank you so much for joining me. That should be crossed off because we've been taught a lot of, but being taught even now in the entertainment, in the everywhere, health. You talked about agriculture. Everything is all westernized, forgetting about our Africanism and the fact that we're not. No, a lot of people are not really pushing that, and it's not even in the media so much. It makes it very um, fragile for people to understand who they are, but being a copy paster of anything else, but not being an African.
precise. I in my unwellness, there is a glimpse of light that gives me some excitement. It is this great awakening that is happening around the continent. You don't need to go very far. Go on any social media platform and just scroll 3 times, if not twice. The third article you're going to be meeting is something to say about what Africans are, what we must be doing, and etc. And it's like a nation that has been sleeping for almost 400 years. And in a typical example where you are awake,
Jerome Mosquito, I can see you there. I did see your earlier comment, but Mr. Black Hot Fire is on YouTube. I don't know which YouTube you've gone to because I'm live there. Do you mind checking again? Because Mr. Black Hot Fire is on YouTube with me.
waking up from your sleep. And so especially if someone shakes you out of your sleep, in a nice deep sleep, and someone comes, hey, Daddy, wake up. First thing is that your ears have heard what has been spoken. So first thing, you're going to open up your eyes. But when you open up your eyes, your mind is not where your eyes and body are because it was somewhere very far. So in every immediate wake up, there is this disillusionment of some sort, which in some certain cases, it takes seconds to move from where the mind had taken you to and your sleep had taken you to where you are. And when you finally arrive here, you quickly want to scan the place and your eyes will assist you to see where am I and what is happening. Is that
It's amazing because it says this because I believe if you go back to the African history and learn and see how Africa used to be and how amazing the lands were, the unity, the wealth, and then right now it's a shock. And the fact that you can envision that again, but in reality, this is what's happening right now. They say that your mind or your feet cannot take you where your mind has never been in regards to anything. Your feet can never take you where your mind has never been. So the fact that you can envision how the the country or Africa can be. It means it will be. And we've been seeing this in regards to this protest and this revolution happening everywhere. Okay, I'll check again because I was trying to view the video you were playing. Alrighty, General Mosquito. I was playing it on another tab, so I went back to the main page. So it's actually there right now.
Danger and what? So in as much as they're asking you the other issues of priority that are already running through your mind, when your eyes have confirmed you're safe, there's no gun, then you look at the person and the similar process is happening to Africa. As we waking up from this slumber to realize our environment, to size up our friends. Am I still in the same bed? Is my wife here? Are the children here? Is the house not on fire? What the emergency all about? And this awakening warms my heart, because for the first time, we are starting to win off the issues of the night and coming into the day. And the other day I put a poster out and someone says, I don't blame the Africans, Bishop, because you call me Bishop, by the way. Don't blame the Africans, Bishop. Blame it on COVID, the vaccination, and that maybe they have metals that have been pushed into our system. Some of it is actually causing a slight slumber, and particularly to our educated community, which gets so knowledgeable about them and so uneducated about themselves and where they are coming from. And then you find that the whole academic space is built to protect a very colonial system.
Yes. For me, the educational system always gets me because I used to love history so much back. I was still in love with history. I love information. Used to spend a lot of time at night burning the midnight oil, just studying. I'm like, if I learned all this right now, amazing. And this gets us back to what Ibrahim Traore was basically talking about right away here. I'm going to share that video. The fact that he said that the Europeans, these people do not have a personality. They do not have a heart. They don't have morals, because this always blows my mind. How can someone be so wicked? I never get that, because it's just hard to fathom. Like, that's all you have in your heart. You don't have any empathy and love and kindness. You just want to lead and downgrade and control and kill and torture.
These individuals continue, against all odds, to help the master plunder Africa. They like to say it every year. In their economic polls, Burkina is the poorest country, Mali is the poorest country.
That's the narrative that's always been spread about Africa since I knew I was an African, literally since I was a baby. Like, the fact that Africa is poor, we're not civilized, we need help. I've always learned that. The poorest, the third world, it's not a third world country, excuse us. It's not a third world country, never been.
Niger is the poorest country. We are ranked among the last. Very well, if we are as poor as they say. But when the time has come to take responsibility,
General Mosquito, I'm so sorry. I don't know why you cannot find me on YouTube. That's weird, because I'm there. I'm really sorry about that.
We have asked this master to leave the place. Why don't they want to leave? When we take the case of Niger, for more than 40 years, some countries have been exploiting uranium to produce energy at home. From Ottawa to Paris, the streets are illuminated. It is the light. But in Niger, it is the darkness that has served us. When you go to our states, our soils are full of precious metals, such as gold. But often there is not even the slightest road accessible to reach the areas where they exploit gold, even less certain basic social services. This is why we have decided to revolt and take the fate of our countries into our own hands. There are many other examples. But when we decided so, we were approached by some saloon slaves to pass on the message of their master. Because they had created this kind of polymer chain that rises to the heads of our states to serve them. And we came to break the chain.
Sorry guys, I think I clicked on the wrong YouTube, but you can check it right away right now if I'm on YouTube. It's not your fault, there, Mosquito, it's mine. It's not yours.
And it is inconceivable for them. They approached us and asked us to enter the ranks to make the elite leave that must lead Africa. Because they have an elite formed and formatted that must follow, that is embedded in this chain. We refused to enter their ranks. And then the hostilities began.
He's talking about the fact that people who are trying to run Africa came on to Burkina Faso to basically ask them to be a part of them, and they will make Burkina Faso be the lead country in Africa. But he said no. So it basically means they always look for these people, but kind of like, it's lying to them, because lying to them, giving them power, wealth, everything you can think of for their own benefits and for their powerful General Mosquito. Yeah, so he said, no, we have to stick together as Africans. And I believe that's what a lot of countries and leaders have to do, because I believe they're basically thinking about their own good, their own self. The fact that they can't or they can leave this control system and basically be an independent country. Job, you're talking about this. But I believe it's the greed and the arrogance and the hunger for power that is basically drilling and dribbling and sizzling in their body, you know.
Les hostilités ont commencé.
They have sent several mercenaries and trainers to our area. The agents have descended into the Sahel to carry out barbaric, cowardly attacks against our people, hoping to revolt them. In addition to these attacks on the ground, the attacks on communication, manipulation, and disinformation are full in their ranks.
That's so true. Manipulation.
In addition to these attacks on the ground, the attacks on communication.
Communication. Everything, for me, everything we've heard about Africans, about my country, everywhere, it's heartbreaking.
Manipulation and disinformation.
Disinformation, the educational system. Disinformation, like talking about how Africa is the poorest country or continent of all time. That's a lie. I kind of believed that story, but now I know better, you know?
Are full in their ranks.
Mais les peuples du Sahel ont compris.
But the people of the Sahel have understood, and we will never be able to be manipulated again. They know where they come from, they know what they are doing, and they know where they are going.
That's a powerful understanding where you come from. As I said earlier, if you were taught about the African history and everything and how Africa used to be powerful, unstoppable, full of love, full of people who understood their roles, understanding who they are. And now it's something else, because that's not taught in school, and it should be taught in school.
Nous n'allons plus permettre cela.
We will no longer allow this. People are awake, and people are fighting today, not for ourselves, but for future generations.
Et merci à tous pour le combat qui est livré. Cela ne nous fait jamais
And
pleurer.
thank you all for the fight.
Can you imagine if we had an Ibrahim Traore in every country right now? Talk about Uganda, talk about Tanzania, Rwanda. Can you imagine how Africa can be? And we're so tired of being controlled. We're so tired of y'all being in here trying to make demands of our own country. That's the rise of Africa, I'm telling y'all.
Is being fought. This will never make us cry. We will not tremble. We will fight. We will fight for real independence, for our freedom.
Real independence. Whatever happened years ago was not real independence at all.
Parce que pour faire peur au peuple de l'AES,
Because to scare the people of the
ces
Sahel,
individus n'ont que
these individuals
trois termes
have
dans
That's a sign that US Army, you leave, you move, you vanish. No bonus, no negotiation. Guys are so tired. That's a nice banner that says US Army, you have to leave, you have to move, you have to vanish. No burners, no negotiation.
only three terms in their mouths:
démocratie,
democracy,
liberté,
freedom,
droit de l'homme.
human rights.
Democracy, freedom, human rights. I'm going to play that again.
Au peuple de l'AES,
Because to scare the people of the
ces
Sahel,
individus n'ont que
these
trois
individuals
termes dans
have
la
only three terms in their mouths:
démocratie,
democracy,
liberté,
freedom,
droit de l'homme.
human rights.
Bien sûr,
Of course, their local values are only elected in a democratic, free, and transparent process according to their values.
démocratique, libre et transparent selon eux leurs valeurs. Quoi de plus normal?
What is more normal that we want to impose this on ourselves because it is they who dictate the rules.
Très bien. Nous avons décidé de nous assumer.
Very well, we have decided to take responsibility.
2023,
Do you know why on June 26, 2023, when Niger decided to turn the page, the slaves of Salon and their masters got on the big horses?
et leurs maîtres sont montés sur les grands chevaux. Ils ont mis leurs valets locaux en avant.
They put their local values forward and decided to wage a war against the Nigerian people.
Nous
So
avons
we said, anyone who dares to take up arms against Niger
posera
will
sans
face us.
prendre au Niger. Nous aura en face. Parce que
Because we
nous
will
mènerons
wage a
une
merciless
guerre
war
sans
until the
merci
last drop of blood
jusqu'à la
for anyone
dernière
who
goutte
dares
de
to
sang
attack our
pour
states.
quiconque osera s'attaquer à nos États.
That's what he said. I mentioned this in the morning, and he was like, anybody who dares. Literally. Like, there's no, he's not going to fear. They're not going to fear if it's about, like, spilling blood. Not at all. And it's amazing because right now I was having a conversation with one of my African friends, from Nigeria. And they're like, you know what? I can see a little bit of doubt because they don't understand what's happening right now. And they're like, you know what? The government is always going to be the same. Even though you're going to fight and protest, we're always going to have bad leadership. We're always going to have bad governance. And I'm like, why are you talking like that? Like, why are you so delve into the fact that it's always going to be like that? It's so funny. And the people maybe who are basically voicing these opinions out, you're not really being a part of what's happening right now. And I'm like, why are you so negative? Like, where's your mind at? Don't be negative in regards to what's happening right now. And they're telling me, regardless, Iwerton, the government is always going to be like that. Even though you raise this protests, even though you go to the streets. And I'm like, it's so
That's,
funny because
who
you don't know
told
what's
you that?
happening.
That's not true. That's not true. It's always
Yeah,
been
that's
like
not.
that because you've been uneducated. That's not true.
Yeah.
You've been Africa has been caught in straight ignorance for 400, 500 years. That's why it's been exploited. It's the richest continent on the planet, hands down. Should nobody ever been poor in Africa, and you were not. Now you've been taught that Africa's poor. You've been told lies. You've been given fake religions, like Joseph Maponga's talking about. I told you it was going to be a wake up because things work in cycles. The Africans have been in a sleep cycle, and if you knew African spirituality, you knew the Africans knew they were going to sleep. They said we're going to go to sleep. When I was learning, I said, "Go to sleep." What the hell does that mean? As a people, you were going to a slumber. That's just what that's how the universe works. You go into a sleep period. Everything goes into a sleep period. Then goes to spring. Everything goes from a fall, which when everything dies. That's your sleep. Then it starts to wake back. Then in winter, it really goes to slumber. Then spring starts to wake back up. And everything is cyclical, goes in cycles. So the African at that time mentally were going as a collective consciousness were going into sleep. And so they were going to be dominated by lesser people. People were going to come and rob, steal, rape, kill. The European's nature is not your nature. And that's why you can't fathom what you're dealing with a psychopath. And when I say that, it's not my opinion. They've been diagnosed as civilization They set up psychopathic civilizations because they're psychopaths. Everything's even, everything about them stealing and killing and robbing and indoctrination. You know, why would you want to bring somebody else your goofy religion? Africans had spirituality. They need your religion because you want to dominate them, tell them to worship you, and that's a psychopath. And so you got Africans that run around in churches. And church is the most evil fucking place on the planet. Stolen land, called slavery. Go look up. That's your church. Authorized slavery in Africa, beating, whipping, and killing of Africans because it's about domination, about these souls. But now the Africans, you see, Africans starting to wake up like, whoa, what the hell is going on? That's what Joseph Mpaka is talking about. So he can see the awakening. But I already knew that was going to happen. I said, Africa and African people around the globe, you share one collective consciousness, and you're going to start waking back up. So that's why I told you the religions, these fake religions are not going to last maybe no more than 30 years, because the youth that are being born are not going to accept the lies. They're going to be born too smart. They're not going to accept no Christianity, not going to accept no Islam. That's going to go away, because you can't tell me religion that's new is the word of God. Like, well, get out of here. It can't be the word of God. This shit is new. The youth are going to know that. They're going to investigate. They're not going to be just listening to your parents. They're going to investigate. Where did this come from?
Yeah.
How is it real if it always subjugates my life? How now that we got this religion, we're all poor. They're going to go back and study real Africans. You never poor before these religions. You're wealthy. Now you got these religious white people. Now you're impoverished. And like you said, everybody's a slave to the European system. They put their puppets in. So Ibram Traore is educating his people. He's being honest. That's why they want to kill him. Tell them, hey, these people don't want to leave. Why don't they? If we're poor, why don't they leave? Because you're not poor. You're the wealthiest place on the planet. That's why everybody's there. That's why the East Indians there. That's why the Chinese are there. The white man is there. You're there because you're rich. They want to steal what you have. That's what they've been doing for 500 years. He's saying 400. I'm saying 500 years they've been in there stealing. Robbing, stealing, killing, raping. And so the African's docility is now shaking. He's starting to wake up. He's starting to get the sleep out his eyes. You know, you wake up like, you've been slumbering, you get the sleep out your eyes. Like, that's where the African is at now. And the European never thought this was going to happen. But he should have known. He stole all the damn knowledge. He stole all the damn rights of African people. He should have known there was going to be a wake up. Africans weren't going to stay asleep. We're going to keep allowing you to rob, steal, and kill them. So they figured that the African would always be asleep, always worship them. But that's coming to an end. And Kenyans know, the IMF and the World Bank were never set up to help any African. How you going to help me? And all the resources are in my country. How you going to help me? It was never benefit to help you because at a certain time they didn't have the manpower. After World War II, they didn't have the manpower to come and fight you hand to hand. So they said, okay, we're going to devise a banking scam, to steal from these niggas and keep them enslaved. We'll put our puppets, like you said, with the fake democracy and the democracy and the human rights. These people don't give a shit about no democracy. They never practiced that nowhere on the planet. It's a lie. And the human rights, they've been killing, stealing, and raping since they got out of Europe 500 years ago. So that's a bruise. Everything they say is, whatever they say, they fix their mouth to say, no, it's the opposite. Their history shows it's the opposite. They never practiced any civil rights or any human rights with nobody. It's always been robbing, stealing, killing, and raping. And if you try to get free, that's why they say they want to go now. You had the AU, another puppet organization, the African Union, say, we got there Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger going out of ECOWAS is unacceptable. What do you mean acceptable? It's their country. Because the white man had told these puppets that it's unacceptable that we got to go to war against them. That's what we're going to do. So you have puppets say they're going to go war against those countries because they left the white man's fake ass system. See, that's the money. See, that's like Ibram told you. Our uranium has been going to light up Paris by Niger in the dark.
Mm-hmm.
How wicked these people are. That shit don't come from France, came from Africa. So they got lights while Niger sits in darkness. They never thought, well, hey, let's at least share. Let's make sure they got lights.
Right.
They like,
Right.
nah, fuck that. Fuck these niggas. We're gonna
Mm.
rob and steal from their stupid ass. Tell them Jesus Allah coming. And they'll fuck them. That's what they've been doing. And they'll fight to keep it, but somebody's gonna go to war with you. Because you getting back your resource, Iraton, makes Europe, America, and China poor again. They go back to poverty. So that's what that's what the white man is scared of. You got the white man openly saying, we're going to invade Africa. Africa ain't done nobody. Why you going to invade? Because, nigga, we want all the resources that you got. Your diamonds, your gold, your cobalt, your platinum, your tin, your aluminum, your uranium, your barium, all of it. That's made these people trillions of dollars, kept Africans impoverished. See, so, when the European comes to Africa, they're rich. So you're meeting a poor ass savage, but you're kind. Africans are loving. Oh, come on in. We can help you out. You don't think they're gonna knock you? It's like you opening the door to a stranger. Iraton, you're nice. You don't think the stranger's gonna knock you over your head, rape your wife, and then take you home, and then have you working in your own home as the servant? But that's what they did.
Right.
And then if you got online, they chopped your hand off or hung you in your own home and had you as the servant. So now the servant in your own house. You serving them in your own house. You're like, damn. And so, that's what happened. You become the servant in your own land.
Right. So, which is happening right now, literally, when you look at a lot of people coming to like invest here, and you're always wondering, like,
invest is a lie.
Yeah.
Invest is a lie. Oh, you got, they need what you have, Iraton. You don't need to invest that scam invest nonsense.
Yeah.
You have what everybody needs. So if they want it, you say, hey, you're gonna pay me for it. I'm not invested in shit. Not no investment. Say if you want it, if you want my minerals, you're going to have to build a factory here. Manufacturing. So we're going to take the stuff in my ground that runs throughout Africa. We're going to manufacture it here and make finished products, add value to it. And in 5 years, you're going to teach my people how to do it so they can run their own companies themselves. I'm like, that's the damn plan. You don't like it, go away. But they got to accept it or their whole society collapse. Iraton. Everybody has been parasiting off of Africa. That's why they've had their wicked ass experiments in there with the COVID and all this other shit trying to murder us all. The Africans, like I said, has been too stupid and asleep. You don't go nowhere. You got some fucking cracker talking about giving you a shot. What's in it? Like Joseph Mpanga said, what's in that shit? Know their history. Their history's been to wipe us out. I know you didn't want to believe it when I first heard. That's been their whole thing. I want Africa without the African because it's wealthy.
That is so true. And also he talked about the educational system. That's what he said. Mr. Mpanga, which European. Is not teaching us anything about our identity at all.
No, it's not supposed to because you never got free independence. Well, I'm not going to teach you how to overthrow me. But I'm going to say, hey, these educational systems, I want installed in every African country. And that's what you've been dealing with. Lies, European lies, the self-hatred indoctrination. You've been taught to hate yourself over and over again.
That is so true. And also we're not taught about how to lead, how to build, how to be employed, and how to be underneath.
Or how to reason. They said teach them how to read, but not how to reason. Teach them our languages. Teach them how to read, but not how to reason. So you haven't been taught about entrepreneurship, how the world really works. So imagine your parents, 100 people, Africans have been growing up in an illusion of nonsense, in a bubble, like you said, your bubble, not knowing how the world works, thinking that it's Africans. We're poor and white people are great. How they got all their wealth, not reasoning, say, damn, the wealth came from them stealing from us. That's where it came from. But until you learn how to reason and get right knowledge, you don't know that. And so your parents would defend what's wicked because they don't have any clue what's going on. The idea that you go against white people, like, oh no, those are our gods, it's Jesus, it's Allah, all this other dumb shit. Said no, nah, crackers are wicked, evil, thieves, robbers. That's what even Torre is talking about. They said, why don't they want every poor Irritant? Why don't they leave?
Thank you. That is true.
Because you're not poor. Because you're not poor. Why? Because you're not poor. Why the Chinese and all these other people showing up to Africa? Because you're wealthy. That's why. They don't want to be your friend. They don't like us. They ain't there to be your friend. They're there to rob and steal too. Hell shit. How can we get some of this money the damn Europeans have been robbing and stealing from these black people? How do we get involved in the shit? Get our piece of the pie.
Right.
So that's what
the inferiority complex objective to make us feel like we're less, I can see top of the top saying when they talk about overpopulation, they are talking about Africa. They have negative birth rates.
Exactly right, Top. You understand? I've been said they're dying out. Exactly. But that's spiritual. That's an Irritant I don't know yet. That's spiritual. I said they were going to start dying out years ago. If you understand who they are and what they are. Yes, and we're not. And Africa is not overpopulated. Africa is not even populated enough. That's all a lie. That's the truth. Yeah, because they say we get overpopulated. We got to stop your birth rate. Everybody got that damn Planned Parenthood and all that shit in Africa. Cause contraceptives to stop your birth rate. Shows the African woman is the beginning of everything. Her birth rate is always going to be better than everybody because she's the template of the creator on this planet. So she's.
Yeah, I remember that video that you shared. You're telling Shivani to share the African women lactating the.
Well, she's the beginning of everything. So they can't stop the African woman's birth rate because she is the closest thing to the true God, not your fake religions here. She's the closest thing as the true God manifest here on the planet. So she's the beginning of everything. These other people are not. So their birth rates are all fucked up. That's why I told you why you think they got the Chinese and the Japanese and now the Polish asking African men to impregnate their women. Because black is superior to anybody on the planet because you're the beginning of God here. That's your fake religions. It's real. Not the lies you've been told. They know that. If they're superior, why don't they sleep with themselves? Why they ask African men and women to sleep with them? Because you have the God genetics. That's why.
Right. Top of the top saying they fear our young population.
Yeah.
Taking control of our resources. They want to set still like they have. Welcome, Ray Classic.
Yeah, exactly right, Top. You're very smart. They thought they can keep control in Africa, but the youth population is booming, and the youth in Africa are not as stupid as their parents and their grandparents. There's an awakening. They know, they understand. It's more information being disseminated. And they've been learned. They learned to take down this tribalism and this religious shit that they've been given. That's the things of control. The youth have been on these social media platforms, reaching out to each other and understanding that. That's what's been dangerous. You say, "Hey man, this religion shit don't work. This is fake. How the fuck can we talk about this Jesus? We all poor. How the hell can we poor all the time and we the most praying people on the planet? This ain't logical exactly." and then. Our educational system is messed up. Everybody's wealthy but us. And we live on the continent on the planet. How can that be? Something's going on, in this tribal shit. How does this tribal shit help me? It don't. It keeps me divided and keeps me poor. So let's get rid of this tribalism shit. Get out of that shit. Let's understand that we are one people, and with our unity become gives our power. So as you've seen the youth in Kenya unite, you've seen power. And power is never given. It's taken.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. You got it.
Right. Power is never given, it's taken. And it's amazing. Keith has mentioned that, and he shared a video with us this morning of the lady Warimo on TikTok. And she said that people do not really understand, these politicians or government officials don't really understand that the Gen Z movement is not about politics at
No,
all.
it's
It's not about,
collective consciousness. No,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
she and her to understand that. I said it years ago. Africans understand what that meant. She understands. She says, "No, it's not. It's about your
Yeah.
collective consciousness." I told you there's a certain thing. You have the same consciousness as Africans all over the planet. And when
Yeah.
you reach a certain tipping point, you have a collective consciousness. You're the same people. No matter what goofy tribe you claim, you're not a tribe. You're a people. You're an African people, not your goofy tribe. And once you reach a certain point, you have a collective consciousness. Once that starts to wake up, what's happening now, sparked by Kenya, it's going to permeate throughout Africa and the rest of the diaspora, whether you're in Brazil, America, Jamaica, Haiti, wherever you're at. That
Mm-hmm.
collective consciousness is going to spark revolutions everywhere because
Yeah.
you're one people. That's what happens. So, you know, understand that your collective consciousness is being awakened. And she's right. Not about politics. Your collective consciousness about
Mm-hmm.
being oppressed, being treated
Yeah.
wrongly is that's why there's a backlash because there's an awakening. You can't
And it's
put the genie back in
unstoppable
the bottle.
regardless. It's unstoppable regardless.
Yeah, because you can't go back. You're not going to be able to go back to sleep because you're awake.
Yeah.
You're starting to wake up. You know too much information. You're not, like I said, you're not your parents. You're not scared. You're not, well, let me go to church and pray on this and all this dumb shit. Like, what? Man, get out of here with that shit. We've been wronged and things have got to change. And we're the change. We're the change we need to see. So
In the world.
the reason why it's happening, kids, see, they thought it was, the older generation thought it was business as usual. We're going to still
Yeah.
just follow the master's plan. But they didn't realize that they were sitting on the powder keg in Kenya and
Mm-hmm.
around Africa, that you had a young population that knew what was going on and they were going to challenge you. See, for 500 years, Africa's never had that. Like, what the hell's going on? That's why this
Yeah.
is so, and why everybody in Africa is like, God damn right, the Kenyans. When you go online, you see every African youth praising the Kenyans because
Yeah.
it's a collective consciousness because they like, wow, we've been always scared. We've been not know what's going on.
That's
And
so true.
Kenyans put it all online and people have died because the price of freedom, sadly, is death. White people are not going to just let you be free. You are they're parasites. Their wealth depends on them stealing from you.
Right.
They're gonna wake up one day, Irritai, I'm wrong. I've been wrong at Irritai, and I've been wrong by treating you fucked up and stealing. I think I should probably give you your stuff back. You're never
Mhm.
gonna hear that.
We have to take it by force, and that's what even
Yeah,
Ibrahim Traore said. That he said he's ready for blood. If y'all come to a country again, he's ready to basically spill blood if it's fighting for their country, and that's what
they're
he's
playing
basically
on, right. And they're using the puppets, the states
Mhm.
underneath them, Cote d'Ivoire and Benin. The French are amassing weapons right now
Yeah.
to invade them. And that's why also the AU, the African Union, which is not African, just the
Mhm.
name that white people run, it's a fake organization. African Union came out. You can find it every time over the weekend. Just say African Union says that Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger leaving ECOWAS is unacceptable. And if we got
Okay.
to invade these niggas, that's what we'll do. Because the white man told them, hey, you better make sure these niggas don't go nowhere. That's
Right.
what they said. And this is supposed to be the African Union fighting for African people
Yes,
here in
that's a fact.
China.
Yeah.
But it fights against African people because it's a
Mhm.
public organization
Right.
backed by the Europeans. That's why they fired Dr. Eric Connor. When Dr. Eric
Yeah.
Connor got to talking that shit, they said, fire her ass. Get her ass out of here. Get talking about Africa being
Continue.
robbed and stole. They say, hey, call Dr. Doctor, whatever her name is, call her ass up and tell her she's fired. They fired on the spot when she got to talking about the theft of Africa.
Right.
They fired her on the spot.
But she's been consistent in regards to educating people, like on YouTube everywhere.
She's the real deal.
Yeah,
she's the real deal. I don't want my puppet organizations going against me being a European, me robbing and stealing. You keep your mouth shut. But she wasn't. She didn't care about that. She said, "Listen here, you've been robbing and stealing." So the white man made that phone call. Dr. Arikana, you fire her ass. And they did, because she's going against the white man and his plans. Africa belongs to me, the white man. I may be trends and that exactly.
Yeah.
Belongs to you. So, but you wake up, make sure you stay in your slumber. Make sure you stay in your slumber. Remain poor. That's the whole
You're
thing.
cutting off, kids. But we're almost winding up. We're basically winding up here. I can see Cool Guy next door. Thank you for joining me. Hey, I hope you're doing better. Top of the top. Thank you so much. Ray Classic, Kill Myers, Cisco General Mosquito, Dan Omoy. Thank you so much for joining me here on Let's Pop with Irutan. The topic is the voice of the people, because the voice of the people basically is the betterment of the future government. Any last words, Mr. Blackwood Fire, before we wind up?
Stay woke, keep waking yourself up with knowledge. Understand as African people, you deserve to be rich, wealthy. You show the richest continent on the planet belongs to you. Don't let anybody come and gas you. You're stupid, you're dumb. And you need some white people that never helped us. They've been stolen, robbed, raped, and killed. They still own most of the lands in Africa, either through their fake church or through their fake puppets. They don't never intend to leave Africa, because without Europe is impoverished. It's always been poor, guys. Always. Europeans come from poverty, not from wealth. That's it.
Alrighty. Thank you so much for joining me, Mr. Blackwood Fire. And guys, thank you so much for joining me this afternoon. Remembering that you are the change you need to see in the world. Download our app on Google Store. The guys are using the iPhone. Kindly stream on www.blackoutfriendnetwork.com. Remembering to follow us on all the social media, Facebook, X, Instagram, YouTube. And you'll find amazing, mind-blowing conversation in regards to who you are and what's happening here in the 254 and the rest of the world. Remember, you are the change you need to see in the world, and this is a paradigm shift that cannot be shaken at all. Take care and have a blessed evening.
Energy you represent, and them know if you comprehend, and them know if you understand. I'm catching vibes, they wait for dance. Nobody better than I, 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 nobody better.
I say what you so you go with my princess of life. Enemies don't interfere, enemies are just to survive. But the devil on my back, that's why I'm steady on my grind. You know where I'm from, I'm never going back. Yeah, so anyone for you, make sure you feel my body and soul. Pray for the best, if it has to follow. Blood in my eye, go test me, go look, go do what you follow. That's why I'm steady on my grind. You know where I'm from, I'm never going back.
Nobody better than I, nobody better than I, Nobody better than I. Nobody better